For years, conservatives have been shouting about two things: the chaos at the border and the chaos about the ballot box. And President Trump just came out swinging on both fronts. He said, enough is enough. The games with the mail-in voting are over. The open border madness is over. And it's time to take back our country. Let's break it down and see why this announcement is extremely important and how it will make a monumental change. This is going to be a good one, so make sure you like, comment, watch to the end, and subscribe for more daily news updates. It means the world to me. And don't forget to share. Trump declared that he's going to lead a movement that ends mail-in ballots, what he called highly inaccurate, very expensive voting machines. He said that the states were merely agents of the federal government in counting and tabulating votes, and that they must do what the federal government tells them to do. They don't have a choice. This is a strong symbolic move to reclaim control of the elections in a manner that the Republicans view as fair and verifiable. President Trump also reiterated his firm stance on immigration. Trump visited a facility in the Everglades nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz and made clear that detention and deportation were on his agenda. He also talked about major structural steps like increasing the power of immigration enforcement. Let's start with this bombshell of a clip of Trump ending mail-in voting potentially forever. Watch this.
Doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you explain on that how?
Well, that's a very off topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things. And now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed.
After viewing that clip, it makes sense. I feel like ending the mail-in voting is a good thing. One reason is because people can cheat. People can have multiple ballots sent to their homes and delivered to them and then mail those in for voting. They're just adding more things to the system. Imagine a house where only 2 people live there, but they have 5 ballots being delivered. You can see the inconsistencies and how it's unfair. All type of votes can be smuggled in that don't belong there. The idea of having paper ballots seems like the right way to go. It can be more secure if they do certain things like having watermarks or official documents that the ballots can only go on and only one person can do it one time. I also like that with the voting and the counting of the votes, they'll get it the night of. That's very important because with technology and also using machines, people can hack them, they can alter them, and that in turn will determine the outcome of the elections. So overall, I do believe that Trump made a good decision. And I do wonder how this will affect the next election. I want to see what implementations are put in place to help the disabled and handicapped people that might struggle to get there in person. Next, I want to look at this clip of Trump going full force on the Democrats for creating ICE tracking apps and websites. Watch this.
Specific apps that are used to track the location of ICE agents.
I guess we'll do that. I'm not a big app guy. I'm not into that too much. I think Pam might be it. Let's go.
Yes.
Could answer that.
Yes. These organizations, President Trump, are coming in and their apps to track our federal law enforcement officers, and it jeopardizes their lives, where they're going to be, their location. And we've actually been working really well with the tech companies who have been cooperating because they don't want our law enforcement officers to get injured. So, yes.
Well, I mean, I see it with ICE, where they're having, where they define where they live, who they are. And, I didn't have a big view on the mask, but I now understand why they should wear masks. I think it's very dangerous for them not to wear masks. They can do whatever they want. I notice some do it and some don't, but it's pretty dangerous. But when you look at, you talk about that question, I think it's very dangerous, and I think you're coming down on that very hard, right?
There are so many dangers around having people's information, where they live, where they're from, to be publicly known for everyone to get. Trump even said himself that now he finally does understand why some of them wear masks. It's for their safety and own protection. And it is nice to hear that Trump and his administration are working with the tech companies to get these apps shut down because they don't want any of these ICE agents to be hurt. And with this happening, it's only a matter of time before a big situation does occur, especially considering all of the protests and the riots that have shown violence. I can't imagine what some people will do if they find the personal information of those officers and go to their homes. They might even harm the officer and their families. I want to take a look at this clip of Trump saying that he is finally ready to prosecute and remove cartel members. Take a look at this.
And we're here today to discuss a sweeping, unprecedented, and historically successful operation that my administration has carried out in recent weeks to arrest, prosecute, and permanently remove members of foreign drug cartels from American soil. And the people gathered around this table are the ones that are doing it, and in this room. Some of them sitting a little behind. In fact, some of them, I'm surprised, are not actually at the table. You people should be very insulted by that. But you've done a great job back there. On my first day in office earlier this year, I signed an executive order to officially designate the drug cartels and savage transnational gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. It was my honor to do so. And on that same day, I also signed an order directing the creation of the Homeland Security Task Force to bring together all federal, state, and local partners to achieve the national policy goal of eliminating the cartel presence in America once and for all. And the results are, and it's early, and the results are spectacular. Led by ICE and the FBI, this task force includes the Department of Justice, the Department of War, DHS, the intelligence community, ATF, the DEA, the U.S. Marshals, and the state and local agencies in every part of our country. Other than that, we don't include too many people. That's a hell of a group, isn't it, huh? When you think of it, that's not a group you want against you. Certainly not at one time.
That clip is pretty spectacular. I would hope that all people would agree with it. We're getting rid of violent gangs and drug cartels that are putting our people in our country at a risk. We are hurting people. Drugs are a big problem, and so is violence. And if we can get both of those things cut down, that's a win for America. Trump also shared that he has made a DHS task force led by ICE and the FBI, and they include a lot of scary areas of the government. You wouldn't want to be up against those. So your best bet would just be go back to your country. No matter which side you're on, you have to respect that this decision is a good decision. This will bring peace to America, and we need a lot of that. Lastly, I want to look at Trump revealing who the anonymous billionaire is who has been paying the troops during the shutdown. Watch this.
A friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military, because I love the military and I love the country, and any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million.
Can you share who that is?
I would love to tell you he doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth, but he gave us a check for $130 million.
And that's going to go to
which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah.
Looking at that last clip, it's very honorable. There's not a lot to say about it, but it's a very, very kind and nice gesture. The troops have been fighting for our countries. They have not been getting paid. So for an anonymous billionaire to donate $130 million just to pay them, that shows that yes, he does love his military, just as Trump said. I feel like that is a positive because those conditions that our military are living in and the places they are stationed and the work that they are doing, it's very important. So they do need to be getting paid for that, especially getting paid to help take care of their families who are back home without them. So that was all in all a very kind thing to do, and I'm glad it happened. But also, it does make me very curious to know who was the person that donated. So that right there, it shows you that President Trump, he has some support behind him, some big support. For people to contact him and want to do that, they have to believe in his message and what he's doing for America. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on KW Lawholic.